Mary Alice with Change Your Aim, Change Your Life, and I'm here in my living room. And I love to think that you're just sitting across on one of my wing chairs and we're just having this great discussion. I wanted to continue the information about pain and how it's our friend and our teacher in life, because I did that blog a couple weeks ago and I promised a video to explain a little more. So I'd like to do that, and I'd like to be brief. Although I know sometimes I go on and I chat, so I really thank you for hanging in there. But I really want to equate pain with our physical pain. So quickly, I want to talk about our physical pain. And when we're born with our nervous system, and it is primally set up for us. So when we're babies and we're hungry, we don't know how to talk yet, so we cry and we whimper and we get fed, or we're wet or uncomfortable and we cry and we get comfortable again and we get a change. Or if we're tired, we get a little grumpy and we're rocked to sleep. And so our bodies are in tune with the comfort level and our survival level. And as we grow and toddle around and we fall down as we learn to walk, or we bump into things and, maybe get a little scrape when we fall or bump into a cupboard, or, our moms give us a kiss and put a Band-Aid on it, and we learn empathy that way also. We also learn our physical boundaries, so we know not to go back on that little path and bump into that thing that hurt us, or go near the hot stove and touch it and it'll burn our hand. Or, we learn our physical boundaries through discomfort and pain as well. So when we grow and when we get hurt, the ideal setting is to have parents and caregivers who are very empathetic, who care, who kiss our boo-boos, who listen to us. Oh, I fell down, I got a hurt, I got a boo-boo, whatever children say. And you go, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. That's so sad. And let's take care of it. And you're going to feel better in just a few minutes. And, so they feel cared for. They feel heard that they got hurt. And before you know it, they're back out running and playing. So there are a couple things that the kids learn is not only love from their parent, or caregiver, but empathy, which is so important to learn in life, to learn to care about other people, because we learn empathy through being empathized with when we're young. So I want to tell this quick story. I read an article not too long ago about a young girl who was born with a very rare condition, and she cannot feel pain at all. At all. She can feel pressure, but she cannot feel pain. So can you imagine what those parents went through? I mean, we know, as I was sharing about toddlers, their little bit of discomfort is also their teacher. We can guide them and help them and say, don't go near there, that might hurt you, or don't touch the stove, it's hot, that might hurt you. And, if they touch it a little bit, they learn, oh, I won't do that next time. Or they toddle around and they know not to go near that one table because it's got maybe a corner on it that's uncomfortable when they walk by it, or they might have gotten hit by it. So anyway, it's a lesson. It's a lesson learned, and it's a boundary given with our bodies and within our minds and our emotions. It's all intertwined, of learning about life, about what is safe and what is not safe. So we have these boundaries of pain and uncomfortableness that we know what the triggers are and what to do and what to take care of when we're hurt or we get sick and we have a fever. Oh, this doesn't feel good. So our bodies are saying, well, you're not feeling well and you need to, take some ibuprofen and a hot tea, or, if it's that bad, go to the doctor, see what might be wrong. Take care of yourself. So we do. But with emotional pain, with a lot of us, again, and my focus is on those of us who grew up in very difficult homes that are abusive or traumatized, or experienced extreme pain or loss as a child, which develops anxiety and fear of abandonment issues also. So whatever abuse, sexual, physical, psychological, verbal, all those are encapsulated and into our psyche, and then we develop a protection mode because we don't want to feel that. anymore. We don't want to feel that pain or discomfort. We don't know as children how to speak what's going on. We don't know how to rationalize and explain to someone else, this isn't right, this hurts, or don't do that to me, or you're wrong, or don't touch me, or whatever the situation is. So we go, there's something wrong with me. I'm unlovable. I'm not acceptable. No one likes me. I must be an oddball. What is wrong with me? Of course, we don't think that in our consciousness, but it goes into our subconscious because that's what we feel. Because children learn who they are by how they're treated by others in the world. So how you were treated by others, what you were spoken to, how you were spoken to, or even being in a situation in a room with other adults can be disturbing. Children don't need to hear half of what adults talk about, and yet many adults are oblivious to some of the conversations they carry on with children in the room. It's all absorbed. Language is all absorbed, and it's all in there swimming around. So with emotional pain, oftentimes, if we compare it with physical pain, let's say there's that hot stove, for instance. Well, we know you don't touch a hot stove. It hurts, it burns, and we don't want to do that. You're very careful. Use the proper kitchen utensils or tools to do what you have to do. Well, this girl that was born without pain, the parents had to just be vigilant, because if she fell and got hurt and didn't say anything, it would be very, very quickly she would develop infections if she got a scrape that weren't clean or untreated. She could break her arm falling off something and no one would know. She wouldn't know unless her arm didn't work properly, and then she could say, "Oh, something's wrong here. My arm's not working." Whatever the situation was, or how dangerous it could be, they had to be ultra vigilant with her and try to teach her and train her about the fact she can't feel pain, but this is painful and don't do this. Well, she happened to be in the kitchen, I think about a year ago or whatever. She was helping her mom in the kitchen and she was stirring a pot of something liquid. And I can't remember if it was soup or a sauce or whatever. Well, the spoon fell in the pot. Well, without thinking, she just put her hand in that boiling liquid and pulled out the spoon. And to her mother's horror, once again, she had to say, "Honey, you can't do that." And she had to rush her to the hospital, and she had burn treatments on her hand because it was very severe. So can you imagine that feeling and then getting really hurt physically and not feeling it? And it could lead to death. It could lead to death with infections or bacterias and broken arms, or maybe falling in a way that there was internal bleeding, an organ got disrupted or ruptured or whatever. So this happens to us emotionally. We are broken inside emotionally when we're young. We're hurt. There is that inner bleeding. There is the emotional disruption and infection, so to speak, that we just try to protect with our coping mechanisms as children. Thank God for coping mechanisms because they get us through life. And everyone's going to cope differently depending on their little personalities and how they deal with life. There are a million scenarios, bitterness, a hard shell, anger, sarcasm, never trusting anybody, or to the other extreme of just being a doormat, a codependent, a people pleaser, somebody who will just do anything bend over backwards just to be liked. So, those are the extremes, and there's everything in between. So as we grow, as the children grow, and these coping mechanisms are encapsulated in the psyche, we begin to think, well, this is just who I am. Well, it's not who you are, and I beg to differ. And I want to say, who are you really? So when you bump up in life with the same old pain, the same old frustration emotionally, or you keep getting into hurtful, abusive relationships, or you keep having the same feelings over and over of, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, you live a mediocre life, and yet deep inside, you know your soul is longing for something better. You know life can be better, and you want that for yourselves, but you just don't believe it can happen. That's the emotional pain I'm talking about. And it doesn't have to be there, and it doesn't have to stay that way for you. So I want to bring awareness to that situation. So when you keep feeling the same way about something, or if you keep finding you're in the same situations, or you're with the same kind of group of friends that are, you know, you're not happy with your friends, but you're just glad they're there. Does that make sense? It's like there's some people in our lives that are so negative and disruptive to our well-being, but we just still cling to them for some reason or another. You know, maybe you're reliving your childhood in those situations too. I see that oftentimes. You know, some people will take jobs where um, they are the low man on the totem pole, or jobs where their bosses are mean or not nice. But they're reliving this childhood thing and they don't even realize it. So they're bumping up against that same pain. Whereas again, if we relate it to it physically, we know not to go near that pain. We know not to go near that hot stove. We know not to walk in traffic. We know, not to sit out in the sun too long because we'll get sunburned. We know whatever the pain threshold is or whatever the discomfort is, our bodies tell us, no, you're uncomfortable. Don't do that. Take care of yourself. And we do. But somehow emotionally, we don't. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I have the workshop that I developed to help all of us dig down deep to that treasure that you are, bring it back up where it should be so you're shining, so the real you is not covered by that shame anymore and that pain. So your inner aim, which is why I have Change Your Aim, Change Your Life, because I believe we have an inner aim to succeed in life and to do our best in life and to carry out God's will in whatever our capabilities are and our talents and abilities and who we are as people and the best that we have to offer the world, to our families, to our loved ones, to our workplace. We want to shine. We want that aim to be high in all directions, to shoot out. If it's giving with our hands, if it's all symbolic, even spiritually grounded, it's how you see the world, how you view God, which again is just a belief system someone told you about that's all mixed up with your coping mechanisms. It can be kind of upsetting in some ways if we really dismantle and uncontort those thoughts and feelings and belief systems. But we get to the real truth and we get to the authentic you, and that's what's so exciting. That's why I love to do this. So I just want you to take this message. I want you to be aware of your emotional discomfort, your emotional pain, the habits that you have that might keep recreating pain and anxiety. Think about the relationships you have, the friendships you have. We are the average of the 5 people we hang around most. And if you're not real thrilled with the people you hang around most, and you're just that average, and I mean in intellect, financial, spiritual, think about that. Just something to think about. I mean, that is a true statistic. Whoever you are around most or learn from most, the 5 people, you're the average of that setting. So, and I'm sorry my laptop's wiggling. I have it set on pillows. Thank you for bearing with me on that. I need to get my tripod for my other camera. So anyway, sorry about the wiggling and jiggling of the camera of my laptop on my lap on pillows, but I still wanted to get this out to you. You do what you have to do, right? Well, I love all you, and I thank you for all your input and your emails and your questions. Again, you can check out my website at www.changeyouraimchangeyourlife.com, which is undergoing revamping. Right now, it's the same information that I've had up there, but the vlog part, like you'll see a menu bar above and you'll see vlog. You're welcome to scroll down and you'll see all the videos I've done. You see what I've written about over the years and under this subject. Feel free to do that and leave a comment. Leave a comment here on the Facebook page too. Leave a comment on the YouTube page. Wherever you see this video, I hope you can comment, and I wish you a great day. And thank you for listening and taking the time. God bless everybody.